Hello and welcome back to Everyday Writers, your one-stop shop for demystifying the writing process. We're here to be helpful guides on your journey to becoming a published author. I'm one of your hosts, Crystal McQueen.
I'm your other host, Jordan S. Keller, and thank you for joining us on today's episode. We're going to be discussing how to infuse tension into your novel. First off, what is tension? To put it simply, it's a stake. It's something that creates conflict either internally or externally for your character. It's important to have tension in your story because without it, unfortunately, your novel will be boring. Of course, different genres will have different stakes, like a third act breakup in a romance novel versus the threat of a dragon attack in a fantasy novel. But all the advice we're about to give can be applied to any genre that you're writing in.
And we've got 7 ways to include tension in your novel. So let's get started. First up, mystery and secrets. You can introduce mystery or a secret early on. Let the character know that they're missing something, or you can introduce dramatic irony and let the reader in on the secret that a
Mm.
character doesn't know about yet, and then leave little clues building up to the reveal. This works better if the clues cost your character something significant. It could be their power, their safety, their trust in another character. So, like in 1984, Winston is hiding the diary that he purchased at that secondhand store. If he gets caught, the punishment is death. So, in this case, it's his safety, right? It's his life.
Yeah.
And that creates a lot of tension for our character and our reader.
That's straight from that first page. That's excellent. Next up, our second tip is trapping your main character, either physically, emotionally, or morally. This can be done simply by taking away a physical item, like a key if they're trapped in a prison somewhere, or a person if they're relying on an ally to come
Mm,
save them.
yeah.
But be careful not to remove too much because you want your character to still have hope and you want your readers to have something they can root for. An example about being trapped emotionally is our girl Bella Swan in New Moon. She's stuck inside that dark and isolated place after Edward leaves, which is her being trapped emotionally.
Yeah. And also, I just want to point out that, like, because you said, like, don't have them have too much hope. There is that moment, that dark moment of the soul.
Yeah.
That's when it feels like everything is lost. And that you don't want that to be at the beginning of your book or even like infused throughout. It's got to be a moment where your character just feels like they have nothing left. Like, I don't know, non sequitur.
Not too hopeless in the beginning, but a little hopeless in the middle is good.
Okay, so number 3, withholding information from your reader to create a sense of controlled confusion. It's really important that you don't do this to frustrate your readers. You can withhold information in a scene by starting in the middle of a tenseful moment and then letting the reader figure out the big picture as clues come together. But if you do this too often or hint at something for too long without even giving them some kind of reveal, you will frustrate your reader. So there's an author that I read who hinted about this big, terrible thing that happened at the end of that one day. And she mentioned it repeatedly in every single chapter. And you didn't learn what it was until the end of the chapter. And when you finally learned what it wasn't that big of a deal. And it was very anticlimactic for me. Like I
Mhm.
felt like I wasted my time and I kind of avoid that author
Oh.
now. So you just want to be able to give your reader pieces of information to keep them going. So you can give them part of the information, you can reveal some of it, or you could even reveal a false, a false answer, and then
Mhm.
have them find out later that that wasn't the answer at all. A great example of this, are you all right? You just went out for just a second. Sorry, we are experiencing minor technical difficulties. Jordan Keller will be back with us in just a moment. No, I can't hear you. If you wanted to feel what it was like to
Hello?
be at work, there you go. Wait, I hear you.
Hello?
There you are.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This, for our viewers at home, my new $100 mic I just bought just crapped out. So
What?
I'll address that later.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
love technology.
I love it.
All right. So, quick recap.
Yes.
You want to withhold information, don't withhold it for too long, or leave your reader getting frustrated that they haven't gotten anything and they get bored with your story. A great example of where this is done really well is in Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. There is a group of people in an apartment, and a person comes in with a gun and takes them all hostage. And you don't get to learn the identity of the hostage taker until the last chapter. However, all
Ooh.
throughout the book, he gives you more information. He gives you different pieces of information about the characters that are in the apartment and what they're doing. And then there's even like police interviews intermittently, like interspersed between it, so you can try to guess. Um,
Ooh, that's
and so
fun.
it was very intriguing, and I wasn't frustrated that I didn't get to know who the identity was because I got to play detective with all of his hints. So I think that that was done very well and kept me very engaged in the book.
Super cool. Moving on, our fourth tip. It's a very simple one. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. There needs to be tension on every page. Just like you'll never know if your microphone will stop working. It's that kind of tension. But just something small to keep the reader wanting and wanting to know information, wanting to learn more. And an easy way to do that is whatever your character wants in that moment, in that scene, there should be something in their way. It can be as large as that dragon attack we talked about in the beginning, or something as small as if they're running late to work and they're getting stuck behind every red light.
Mm.
In the final pages of Oathbound by Tracy Deanan, her characters are on the way to the final battle of the book, and they get stopped. There's a rock in the road, someone calls them, there's like a passenger that needs to get out, like all these little mundane things, and each time it had like you have no like, is this going to be the end? Like, is this going to interfere with the battle? Is this going to help them? And it just kept me on the edge of my seat. And just those last 30 pages were so tense, like my heart monitor on my watch was just jumping up and down. So it's a great way to study some tension.
That is every nightmare that I have, like my anxiety dream. Like I've got to get somewhere and I can't because I keep doing all these other things.
Yeah.
So definitely raises the anxiety. All right, number 5, introduce threats. Don't start your novel off with the big bad. Let them ease into the page. Their reputation and influences in the world should come first. But also make sure that if you plan on taking something away from your character, your reader gets attached to it first.
Oh yeah.
The threat of loss can be as powerful as the actual loss. In one of my favorite novels, Pride and Prejudice, we learn that the girls early on can't inherit their father's estate, so they must marry or become destitute. And that threat of destitution drives most of the novel because you're either looking for a mate so that they don't become destitute, or just completely, refusing that destiny for themselves and trying to find another path for them. So just the threat of not having a place to live drives most of the tension in the novel, at least in the first half of it.
Yeah, and another thing about introducing your big bad and towards the middle of the book, you can give your character an adversary that they kind of match with. So that tension of who will win, who won't win is a little more easier to show versus just the big bad, because you know the big bad would essentially win in the beginning because they're the big bad. But our
Well, oh, sorry. Just
oh no.
I love it when you think you know who the
Oh
big
my
bad
gosh,
is,
yeah.
and then it turns out that that person is not bad at all, and it's somebody totally different. Another Frederick Bachman novel that does that so well is My Grandmother Told Me to Tell You She's Sorry. And the
Oh my
whole
gosh.
book, you're thinking it's this one woman is this like bad person that they're trying to overcome, and it turns out she's not bad at all. And I loved that.
Oh, I love it. Oof. Oh, so, oh my gosh. Oh yeah. So our second to last tip is using promises to your advantage. Your character can make a promise to themselves or to another character, and the tension will come with them trying to keep that promise. And if they break it, make sure it costs them something. Betrayal will hurt on both sides of that break, and it's a good way to show tension in your character and in your world building. In the book The Cruel Prince, when Jude is making her final plans, she's promising Cardan that he will not be king. It's going to be her little brother. Don't worry. Turns out it was all a lie. She tricks him, she crowns him as king. And the cost of that is this rocky relationship they'd been building through the whole book shatters. Um,
Oh.
and you as a reader, you don't realize what's happening either until that crown gets put on. And it's great. Study those books. Study all these books we've mentioned because they're essential for good tension.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love to hate that where you think that you know what's going on and
Yeah.
then the author just turns it on its head and you're like, that was like such a better way to do it. Like, well done.
Hmm.
All right, so rounding it out, number 7, use a ticking clock. Nothing puts pressure on a situation like a deadline. That is every YA book I've ever read. The
Yeah.
world is ending, and if you don't do these things before the world ends, then, everybody's gone. Make sure the consequences of missing the deadline are devastating and really let that stress influence your characters. I'm not going to use a YA novel for my example. I'm going to use in the book Me Before You. Will Traynor is a paraplegic who is chosen to give his parents 6 months before he undergoes a physician-assisted suicide. And when his caregiver enters, Louisa Clark, her goal is to get him to change his mind. And she has 6 months. It adds so much tension to the book, knowing that their time is limited and that if her goal fails, that, he's going to go to Switzerland and take his own life. And so it's very tense for the whole book because you know that even though like they're building this, there's always that thought in the back of your mind, like, has he changed his mind? Is this enough to get him to change his
Yeah.
mind? So
Oh, that sounds so sad.
it was very sad.
Ooh.
I cried very hard in that book.
Books are beautiful things. But all in all, for our listeners, tension is about inconveniencing your character, and readers love to see them triumph in spite of that. So Crystal, when you're writing, how do you include tension in your pages?
Well, I'm a plotter, right? And
Right?
so I plot it from a high level of what big things that I want to do from a reveal standpoint, and then I plot it at the chapter level, trying to make sure that I've got enough tension to keep the story going, make sure that I'm putting in, false leads for people who think that they know how the story is going to go. Yeah, so for me, it's all about plotting. If I don't plan it, it's never going to come together for me. What
Do
about
you,
you?
uh,
Sorry.
no, you're good. Before you do that, is that all on your like outline before you do your first draft?
So what I do is I'll do an outline,
Mhm.
and I will figure out the main story arc, and then I'll go through and I'll like elaborate each chapter, and then I'll go through and write it one more time to say, okay, what do I want to happen, and where are these things going to be
Yeah.
revealed? And then I do the first draft, do a reverse outline to do it again, and then rewrite the outline one more time to do my second draft, which is, of course, typed out from page one, which we've talked
Yeah.
about.
I'm doing that right now with my project, and it's so slow, but it is so worth it. Like,
It
because
really is.
yeah, highly recommend it. Don't just edit, do the whole rewrite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it sounds painful, but if you do it once, you will hate us because we told you to do it and
Yeah.
you'll be like, this is not worth it. But then when you go through and read that rewritten piece, it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
So,
I
what about
actually
you? Yeah.
I take a page from your outlining and like I'll do my whole first draft and then I'll start highlighting like, oh, tense moment, big moment here, and then I'll kind of pull it all back and like how far can I go to start littering seeds that lead up towards it, start including the secrets, start taking things away from my character
Yeah.
or giving them things that I can take away later. I've been doing that a lot with this new project.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much, especially because when I read your first drafts, I always feel like there's so much tension on the page
Oh,
already.
thank
So
you.
it's
Thank you.
fantastic.
I work very hard on them.
Well, that's all the time that we have for this episode of Everyday Writers. Thank you so much for letting us be part of your writing journey. And just remember, add tension to every single page.
But be careful about balancing story forward tension and frustrating tension. Your tension should elevate your story in ways.
Yeah. And whatever your character wants, create something to stand in their way so it's very difficult for them to get it.
And join us next time where we're going to be discussing first page do's and don'ts. Maybe Crystal and I will bring a first page of what we're working on. And if you love what you hear on Everyday Writers, don't forget to subscribe. Gosh, don't forget to click that subscribe button and give us both a follow on Instagram.
And don't forget, every day is a good day to write.
And double
See you
check your
next time.
headphones and see you later. Oh
Bye.
my gosh.